Welcome back to Meet the Coach. Again, I'm Pat Curran, one of the co-founders here at our coaching network. Today, we've got Coach Brandon Napoleon. He is the defensive backs coach and defensive pass game coordinator at Sacred Heart University. What is good? I appreciate you joining me.
Well, I appreciate you having me,
Of course. And we I guess we talk a lot through text, and you've come on two times, right, to clinic with us so far over the last couple of years. They've been great clinics, and I just rewatched the other one the other day as we were putting out some more content around it. But I guess start by talking to us about how you got to where you are now here at Sacred Heart.
Oh, yes, sir. So started off in 2018, getting done with life insurance, and my first job was a coroner's job at Susquehanna University. Got a chance to go 9-1 and coach All-American in Daniel Sheldon. And from there, I had the opportunity to get the chance to go down to Midwestern State, be a graduate assistant. But that was a short tenure. Wife got pregnant, so I had to go make the big boy decision. Go take a D3 job at Geneva College, was the pass game coordinator and co-defensive coordinator there for the spring season of 2020. We had great success, moved up to number 23 defense in the country. And from there, got a chance to go be the corners coach over at Cookstown University in the PSAC.
That's when we linked up initially.
Exactly. So that's when we got contacted, and that was a short stint. Got a blessing to go with Maurice Linguist over at Buffalo, University of Buffalo, and that was a blessing to be the defensive back graduate assistant, working with the safeties of the Rod Ojong, who's now at Charlotte. Just got a chance to learn there. And from there, 2020 season, 2021 season, got a chance in 2022 to now be the corners coach at Sacred Heart, where I got a chance to get my first FCS room, and then had an all-conference guy in Arsheen Giles, and now got promoted to the defensive pass game coordinator and defensive backs coach, which is a nice blessing for Martin Ofrey. Really appreciate Coach for that, and hopefully this year we can make some promises due, get back in the playoffs.
There you go. So how has that changed what your approach is this year? Last year you come in as just the corners coach, right? Now you've got more responsibility on your plate, your defense pass game, your secondary. How has that changed your approach, heading into this season, or has it not really changed? It's just you have more guys you're coaching?
No, I just think it changes my mindset. Like, obviously, I'm still just coaching the corners. Have a little bit more say-so, a little bit more. I can put a little bit more input into it. And, coming in as a guy after being a graduate assistant for so many years and taking that intern role as a corners coach. And now when I walk into my first room last year, obviously I was comfortable, but I didn't want to say much. I'm just coaching the corners, doing my job. Now improve myself as a coach and as a recruiter to now take that next step. So now I have a little bit more input on stuff that I learned at Buffalo or stuff that I learned at Midwestern State for that little point in time. So now I'm putting a little bit more sauce, a little bit of sprinkle. But all in all, as a defensive staff, we all have great ideas. We all come into one. Now it's just a whole bunch of great ideas. And now we can hopefully put the product on the field under our new DC, Coach Edwards.
Sure. I loved it. I was listening to Van Malone had Marvin Lewis on his podcast the other day. And he was talking about how do you build a great staff. And Marvin Lewis, I think anyone who's listening, watching this knows who Marvin Lewis is. Former head coach of the Bengals for a long time. Now he's at Arizona State as a special advisor. And he was like, there's basically three things I'm looking for. And not everyone's great at all of these things. It's like communication, be an expert. And but the way he put it together is like, not everyone is going to be great, the best coach on the field. Not everyone is going to be able to communicate what they know to their player, and it's all got to come together in one specific, goal at the end of the day. What do you think makes you different as a DB's guy than other DBs?
I just think it makes a big difference when you actually play the position. And I'm no knock to anybody who hasn't played a position and coached a position, but I just think it gives you a little bit more edge to know how to talk to the guys while they're on the field during a game-like situation rather than just drilling them and, getting that technique right? Sometimes, it's third down and maybe a guy is just naturally faster than you. You can tell the guy, I need you to kick 45, burst out because it's a fade ball coming on second and short. Fade ball's coming. He's a little bit faster than you, but I can tell you, I know what your mind's thinking. You're like, okay, I got to win. It's crunch time. I already know second and medium. That's shot zone time, right? So I know. He's saying kick 45 because he knows I've been in that predicament rather than somebody saying, use your normal technique. You use your normal technique might get you beat in that mindset. But I just think that gives you a little bit more of an edge, being able to go from West Virginia and then going to UNI and then playing different playing the IFL, playing the AFL, like seeing different, seeing different angles on how you could play So we don't even break on we talk about 45-degree angle breaks. We don't even talk about that anymore. We talk about 33-degree angle breaks, so you can really undercut the ball. Things of that nature, just little sharp tokens I can give the guys. And then obviously just being a little bit younger, I'm way energetic. You know, I'm a ball of juice. You know, you got to bring the juice to yourself. BYOJ, bring your own juice. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm about. I'm about having fun. I'm about being passionate with the guys. And actually, you know, not saying every coach doesn't care, but I care about the guys and their development.
Is there anything specifically this offseason you've been working on with your guys or yourself as a coach?
No, I've been working on, not like with my guys. I've been working on my professional development. So now in this offseason, I can take it to another level. I mean, now when we talk about, I didn't want to bring it to them in the spring. I want to bring it to while we do summer workouts. So now we can progress through the season with it. So all my guys will be here. You know, I recruited a big class. So now when those guys get here in the summer, I can implement it with everybody so everybody can be on the same page. So I did start working the mirror motor. I was an inch guy and a pure step guy. But you know, I talked to Coach Cox over at Virginia, and he got me into the mirror motor. So now I implemented that in the spring, and now I'm gonna try to move forward with that. But just learning different buzzwords, learning different philosophies. When I do become a DC of my own, I want to learn the 3-3-5 stack. So, you know, watching different clinics on that, trying to run the 3-high defense. Something we ran at West Virginia when I was there with Coach Gibson, who's now at NC State. So hopefully during the summer, I get over there with Coach Nardo at Oklahoma State, go pick his brain about the 3-3-5, get down to NC State, and, you know, just craft myself and craft my corner game so now I can give the best product to my corners.
Sure. We were talking before we started even recording. You said you guys have been done with spring ball for what, almost 3 weeks now. You said, right? The 30th, right? 31st. So, and you've already done some professional development, some clinic and stuff with some guys. How often do you do that? How many places are you going? And obviously one thing was 3-3-5 and obviously some DB stuff, but what are those like? How often are you doing it? And what are you trying to get out of those sessions? Because a lot of guys just go to like, I want to go talk to this guy so I can get, when he goes somewhere, I want to go with them instead of like learn.
No, yes, sir. No, I'm learning. So I went up to UMass for the past 2 weeks because UMass, Don Brown's legendary defense, that's our defense. We try to implement everything that we learned from them. So I'm going down there trying to learn scheme things, trying to learn different ways how to practice. I'm learning from a legend. UMass is an hour and 45 minutes away. So now why not take that advantage to go up there and, like I said, craft our scheme and our defense and maybe implement some of their practice habits. We can bring that into our habits. You know, why not go up to the FBS? So the next spot we're trying to go to is Boston College. Last year we went to UConn, but we played UConn this year, so we can't. But anybody who runs a 4-2-5, I'm gonna drive to go see that. And obviously, like I said, still practice habits. Maybe we can, you know, tweak something in our practice that can elevate our game and give us a different edge. So it's not only, like I said, sometimes you go for personal development, but sometimes you go for, like I said, scheme development, team development, things of that nature, which you can implement. So it's really like I treat the off season, or some coaches treat it as vacation time with your wife, things like that nature. Yeah, my wife can get some vacation time, but I'm really trying to be the best at this. So I'm gonna craft myself and mold myself throughout the whole summer, and never gonna take a break.
I remember one time as a young coach, I did 17 camps in 18 days. Because that was just what I had to do. And I was trying to, you know, move up the ranks and get, I was a GA at the time, get a full-time job. Didn't necessarily work at that time, but that was the goal, you know, and working obviously when you're younger versus when you're in your 50s, are you going to be doing what you're doing now? Probably a little different maybe, or how you approach it. How do you think, or what do you think from a DB coach's perspective? We probably had 25 guys on the network this offseason that are DB guys.
Right.
Seems to be one a lot of people are open to speaking about. And obviously there's a lot of different techniques and different intricacies to it. What do you think more DB guys should be focused on that they're not?
That they're not focused on, I couldn't say per se. You know, everybody has a different quirks. I think the eyes. I mean, I think the eyes are the most intricate part of playing defensive back. I think your eyes take you where the ball goes. Your eyes take you to where the man goes. Your eyes move your body. You can't move your body you can't run this way with looking this way. You know, that's how I feel. So I feel as though if anything is lacking in a DB coach's game, or if you talk and emphasize eyes to any DB, is going to make their game go up like exponentially just by that, just with the eyes. So, I mean, I don't really know. Like I said, I click with a lot of people, but everybody really harps on eyes. But if you're not harping on eyes, maybe you need to, and you can see your guy's game go up a little bit more.
Sure. Do you From a self-evaluation standpoint, what do you do? What do you look at to help yourself become a better coach? Like, how do you measure last season versus this upcoming season? That kind of stuff.
So right now I'm matching the spring of last season to the spring of this season, looking at the hit rate, looking at the deep balls. So we have, you know what I'm saying, we have a hit chart where I look at how many deep balls we gave up versus how many deep balls was taken, intermediate routes, short routes, how many PBUs. It's almost like a habit rate chart, right? And then after I go through that, I want to match to the one we did last season and see if we got better throughout the spring. And I'm gonna do it for summer camp, and I'm gonna do it for obviously the fall season. And that's how I just do it throughout when I was at Susquehanna from, you know, just learning from different coaches. I learned that from Coach Mitchell at NC State, just how to track yourself throughout practices, see if we're getting better each practice. So obviously grading every practice. Commenting, I have a little sheet that I comment on, send it to the guys. So now before they even watch film with me, they're reading their comments, watch film by yourself. So I implement that. Players of the day for each practice as well. So now I'm tracking plays of the day. So whoever starts at the end of the week, I don't have starters. Like I don't have year one all year round. I have whoever won player one, player two of the week throughout the week. Yeah. You should be starting. Like you have a chance to start, especially throughout camp. Whoever comes out of camp with the most players of the day, you're the starters for the first game. So now that's tracking me, saying who is performing the highest rate. And that actually gets your players to play a lot better throughout practice. They're not going to slack because there's no – I recruited, like I said, 6 corners to come in and play. So once I put that out there to the guys that are already here, now you have a bunch of hungry people ready to play rather than being complacent. So that's just how I chart everything, like I said, hit rate, havoc rate, and I chart the players of the day throughout the players of the week, and that should translate to who plays well in the games.
Sure. Do you, going into fall camp, do you have clear-cut starters, or are you pretty close? And then how many guys do you plan to play at on your end specifically?
Right now, I have one lockdown. One for sure, you're the guy and you're the leader. And the other one's up for grabs to fight for. Between a young guy that's already here and an older guy that's already here, they've both been performing their butts off. And then, like I said, I got 2 transfers who played and started at the respective programs who were all conference guys. So I got to see what they're about. And then we also have a young guy from Texas who was a 3-star who we just so happened to grab. Great recruiting by the staff. So we got to see what the young bucks about. So no, the other side of the ball, I'm coming in on the field corner spot, like who wants it, who's gonna be the hungry guy, go take it. So that's how we're gonna handle that. Like I said, I got the boundary locked down. We good on that side. You know what I mean?
So how will you approach that? Like, will you, the boundary guy, will you play him less and let the other guys get more reps, or because you want him to be as good as he can be? Like, you know, and I kind of take this from, we had Demetrius Sumler on, corners guy at San Diego State. And he was talking, this is kind of correlated, not necessarily though, but he was talking about how, like, you know, I like to sometimes do coverage by phase, like phase 1, phase 2, not do the full every time we're doing a full rep, like to save my guys' legs. And as he said that, I was a DB. I thought, man, there's never a season I remember feeling good after week 6 or something, you know, like my legs didn't feel good. Is there like stuff you consider going into camp with a guy who's a clear-cut one versus the other guys, as far as like freshness versus like, hey, I just got guys got to play and let's see who the best 2 are?
So for conditioning purposes, let's say we come out for team speed, that's the first thing we do. He will do the first up and back to team speed. So we do eight plays. So you do 8 plays down, 8 plays back. And Skelly, I don't need to see him do Skelly. Like I know he can cover, so I let the other guys do all the Skelly, all 20-something plays. Now we do team 3 and we're going on to like I said, good on good again. All right, now he might get the first rack of 4, and then let's see what the other guys can do. He had an amazing spring, so it's not like he fell off. I don't really need to see anything, but yes, I want to keep him fresh. So I'm giving them those team reps rather than the Skelly. I'll take his legs, I'll rest his legs for Skelly. And we do enough, like I said, pattern matching things where we can get him seeing, like I said, the route combination and things of that nature throughout team, throughout individual periods of route.
Yeah.
And throughout the season, I know you asked how many people I'll roll out and play.
Yeah.
Last season, it was 6. I played 6 corners. You know
like
what I mean?
In key spots too?
Yeah. You know, and the guys, I mean, defense coordinator trusted the corners and trusted the safeties, obviously, to do those things in dime and nickel. And half the times I was rolling out, let's say the 1s will go out for the first 2 series. Now I got my 2s going out for the next 2 series, mixing my 3s with the next 2 series. So I've saved my guys' legs, but I'm trusting in my guys in my corner room. And the motto is everybody got to eat. Like, that's why I say that's what we say in our corner room. No one's selfish. Our room is strong enough to play these guys, so we want to play everybody.
Yep.
And obviously, like I said, my guy might get more reps, but everybody's going to play at least 10 to 15 reps and get a rotation, while maybe one or two might get 30 to 40. But we're all going to be fresh. We're all going to have reps. We're going to have fun doing it.
Sure. It's always good with DBs too, when you're going to play a bunch of special teams. You got lots of guys who can get on the field, especially like a young guy or someone who can't be a starter but can get some decent reps and now can add a bunch of reps on special teams. It's huge for us DBs. What does culture mean to you?
Oh, man. Culture is easy, and my best friend knows it. Culture to me is what we allow as coaches. That's simple. Whatever we allow as coaches to go on in our locker room, to go on in our field, is culture to me, in my eyes. Right? If you allow somebody to curse on the field, if you allow somebody to throw anything on the field, litter, and not pick it up, that's your culture of the team. You're gonna have trashy kids. Now, if you're an upstanding coach, you expect your guys to be 10 minutes before. You set a standard for your guys to show up RTT ready to train 20 minutes before. If you're setting a standard for your guys are showing up, no earrings in, no hats on. You're not allowing things of that nature. That's the culture of your team. So whatever we allow as coaches is what I define as culture.
I'm with it. So my nose ring, my earrings, and if I say fuck, I can't. That doesn't work.
Oh, no, coach, you can't do it now. Hey, you know what I mean? No, I'm with the courtesy, but like I tell my corners, like, we have a different culture in our room. So if we have a work at 8 a.m., you're in the building by 7:40. You're upstairs ready to train by 7:50, and that's just us as a corner room. That's not the standard. Like, doesn't have to be the standard of the team, but that's what we're going to abide by, right? So, no, we're not using profanity in front of females. That's another thing. We're not cursing in front of females. We have a shirt on in the building at all times as a corner room. So that's the culture of my room. That's what we said. If I text in the chat, you must give a thumbs up or exclamation points to acknowledge that you've seen the chat. The culture. So, that's what I'm saying. That's how if anybody ever asks me, that's what I'm gonna answer. Culture is what we allow as coaches. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I remember talking to a guy, really talented college football player, about a year and a half ago. And he said one of the biggest issues he had was he just didn't respond to texts with his coaches. Like, and I was like, well, why didn't you? And he goes, I mean, I always did the thing. I just didn't respond. And I was like, well, there's an expectation. I take the time to text you a thing, whether it's 5 seconds or 35 seconds. I expect you to respond and then do the thing, or say, hey, I can't do this thing right now. Can you give me 2 hours or whatever? Simple things like that. I like that. At least a thumbs up or an exclamation. Very easy to do. I saw it. Yes. Got it.
Right.
Easy things to do there. How do you implement your culture? Like the young kid from Texas comes in, other guys come in. You said he brought 6 guys in, right? 6 guys?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
How do you, outside of those things, like how you can tell me those things, but what are you doing? How are you setting your culture? How are you creating this on a daily basis when I get in there and then through camp or through, spring, if those guys came early?
The first meeting I have is I have a tone tape set for them. Tone tape is about a 75-page slide. We're going through it. They have the notebook and pen out, and it's very detailed. It's saying exactly what I want, the camp objectives, how I want my meeting rooms to go, what happens in our meetings, the culture of the meetings. So it's setting a guideline. There ain't no eating in my meetings, no talking when I talk. You raise your hand when you ask a question, and it's grind. Like, so everything's already outlined on day one. And I'll have a serious face. So even though I'm, like I said, I'm energetic, I'm a cool coach, serious face to let them know I'm not playing. And then I have other people speak on the culture. The older guys talk about, he ain't playing. Like, our room is our room. We try to be the best room on the team. We all we got, we all we need is what we break down to. So we're trying to be the best. So don't mess this up. So the older guys are now reinforcing the standard and the culture in the room. So now it's just not, the young guys are not looking at me like coach he's a regular old coach. No, now the older guys are letting you know that you're not going to mess up the vibration of the room. This is how the culture is. And now day-to-day basis, like, you can't slip up. If you see somebody walking in with food in your meeting and you said there's no food in your meeting, you have to address that. And even if, so here's, you play mind games. Hopefully none of my guys are watching. So, like, I would tell an older guy to walk in with some food. Just tell him to do it. Then he does it. And now I set the standard and go throw that out right now. I don't care. Boom, throw it out. But we already had that understanding. Maybe I bought the food. You had the understanding. But now the younger guy looking at it like, wow, all right, he told the starter to throw his food out. Okay, yeah, he's serious about his business. But it's little things that kids got to see that you're not just picking on a guy that just got in here, but no, we really mean it. And the standard is the standard for everybody. So that's how it will go throughout the whole year. But you said it all about it. I call it the tone tape. Beginning of the season started off fresh.
And I always think culture, you can say whatever you want to say, but it's what your guys do. And when your older guys are now doing it with the younger guys, and they're really the ones, because you're not with them Friday night when they're out. You're not with them at the lunch spot. You're just not there. So if those guys can be over top and they're the ones, you've created it, now they're implementing it, throughout. So I always love to see that from guys. All right, last thing, I'll let you out on this one. Best coaching advice you've gotten?
I've gotten, don't stop, keep going. It's a marathon, not a sprint. There's a lot of guys that I've seen get into coaching in 2018 are out of coaching. So, it was whoever you could outlast. If you could go until you can't go no more, you'll make it to wherever point you're trying to make it to. You just got to keep going. So I'm still in this fight. I'm only 5 years in. We're going to keep going. We will keep going at least till my son has a chance to go to school for free. So until he get out of college.
Got a minute. What is he? He's like 2, 1?
He just turned 2. So until he get out of 23 years old, I'm going to be in his coaching game.
I'm with it. Well, I appreciate you jumping on with me again.